Hello, and welcome back to Lorabo 2, Dagger of Amon-Ra. I am Ragnatz, and we are being chased by someone with a mace. Quick run. Quick close the door. And since that doesn't look like it's actually going to do very much, let's try tying the door. And run. And then let's close this door. Unlock it. And run up. And there's a chair. Move the chair. Open the window. But I don't think we can actually fit in that window, so let's keep going. I remember some of this stuff from long ago. Hide in there. Where did she go? I just heard something go curse smash. Can I save? Of course not. Let's see what went curse smash. Okay, let's try moving that. And moving that. And moving that. And moving that. Save! So at the very least, we've made it to this elevator. Ridiculous animation. No! Okay.
The lid will... Don't touch it. Don't. You pick it up and place it in your purse.
What did I just pick up? A mummy.
While this... The lid won't open. You straighten out your... Don't touch it. Don't... It's a mummified teddy bear. One of his black button eyes appears to watch you as you move around the room.
Maybe I can use this on the snake thing?
The snake shifts just a little, and you hear a click.
Aha!
You hear ominous chanting as you
this doesn't seem any better.
Strange ceremony.
Amen Ra, 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 Sis Boomba.
Rah rah, sis Goomba, really?
Oh my goodness!
And the little... Oh gosh!
Excuse me, I was looking for the women's lounge?
You're coming with us, young lady.
Oh, how's I know where you were?
I think you're making a mistake.
You've seen too much. We can't let you go.
Not to worry. I won't remember seeing this room, or you, or anything. Really. I've got a terrible memory. Can't even remember my own name half the time.
I'm sorry you found us. Our cult of Amon-Ra must remain a secret. There is too much at stake here. Too many important people are involved.
Cult of Amon-Ra? In the museum basement?
This room is a forgotten part of the original museum. We are safe here, as long as no outsiders are aware of our existence.
Oh, well, my lips are sealed. If you want to dance and sing and have little meetings down here, that's your business.
Yeah.
You cannot be trusted, Miss Bow. You're a newspaper reporter. We could be a featured article on page 1 of tomorrow's newspaper if we let you go.
But people are going to miss me. They'll search the museum.
The police will never find this room or your body.
You don't really plan to kill me, do you?
It's a lot of them.
Of course not.
What a relief.
Kill is such an ugly word. Actually, we're going to sacrifice you to Amon-Ra.
Can we talk about this?
There is nothing to discuss. You should be proud to die in such an honorable fashion. Young Egyptian maidens used to fight for the privilege of being sacrificed to the great Amon-Ra.
Now wait a minute. I thought the ancient Egyptians didn't make human sacrifices.
You're familiar with the history of ancient Egypt, Miss Bow?
Well, I've learned a few things.
Perhaps we could test you.
Do I have any other options?
We can test you or sacrifice you. It's your choice.
Test it is.
I'm liking this idea more and more. What kind of a test is it?
Amon-Ra may choose to intervene on your behalf. It is our tradition that we must let you live if you can answer Amon-Ra's riddle.
Great.
Of course, you'll have to answer the riddle with hieroglyphics.
I was afraid it would be something like that. Okay. What's the riddle?
Actually, it's a two-part riddle. What is the room you leave without entering?
It's a good thing we wrote down all these hieroglyphics. So what's a room that we leave without entering? Well, the Rosetta Stone made mention of a womb.
That's correct. Now, the second riddle. What is the room you enter without leaving?
Which, according to the Egyptians, also in that thing, was the tomb.
Very impressive. You are the first person who ever answered that riddle correctly. The wise Amon-Ra apparently wants us to spare your life. Will you swear to keep our location a secret?
Yes.
Of course.
Then you may leave. May the great Amon-Ra guide your footsteps.
Thank you. Now I just have to outrun the person who's been chasing me.
Who is chasing you? Do you think they'll find their way in here?
I'm not sure who it is, but I believe it's the same person who stole the dagger of Amon-Ra from its display case. And I'm sure they'll find their way in here.
If that is true, they will not leave this room alive. I suggest you leave through our secret escape route behind the altar. Go now, and remember your promise.
Somehow I doubt that that's going to be enough to stop this killer. Hey, there's a body in there.
Steve, being the large, unconscious type stevedore he is immovable in his current unconscious state, and he's got coal all over his body. There's an unconscious man in the coal bin. Although the coal has dirtied his face and hair, it looks suspiciously like Steve.
Okay, well. Let's see if we can wake him up. And let's give him his boot back.
Oh, my head. What happened? Laura?
Yes, Steve. I was so worried about you. Are you all right?
I think so. I remember hearing somebody coming up behind me, and as I turned around, somebody slugged me. Cripes, my head hurts.
They must have dumped you down the coal chute. Let me see where you were hit.
I'm alright. Don't touch it.
Honestly, you men can be such crybabies. Do you think you can walk? We have to get out of here. Somebody's been murdering everybody in this museum, and whoever it is after me.
I can make it. I'm with you. Where do we go?
Good question.
Save.
A large, circular, ornately carved stone is hung on the wall here. It seems to be attached to upper and lower tracks which run for several feet across the wall.
Okay. I get the feeling if we didn't give him his shoe, it would have been bad. It's gonna be dark. Let's turn on the lantern. Really? Good thing I saved, I guess. Well, let's just do the lantern in advance then. Oh dear. There are those cobras. You still have stuff in here, right?
A bottle of Dr. Moribund's guaranteed snake oil. It's 1/4 full.
Okay. Shoo!
You hear the sound of gunfire from the direction of the furnace room.
Sounds like someone's chasing us, Laura.
Yep. Okay. Well, let's give these rats the cheese.
The rats devour the cheese in a split second. It only made them hungrier.
Uh-oh. Okay. Annoying feeling you've made a horrible mistake. Rats! Do. Let's do that again, as soon as you're ready. In we go. Snake oil. And we'll get the cheese ready. But this time we will not go through the. We will not throw the cheese to them. We'll throw it past them. Bang, bang, bang.
You hear the sound of gunfire from the direction of the furnace room.
Sounds like someone's chasing us, Laura.
Apparently the Colt is not enough to defeat a person with a gun. Yeah, go get the cheese. And if they're gonna go that way...
You watch in relief as the
Look at
last of the rats scurries out of sight.
Let's go into the other door. Hua. Oh, jeez. Really? Can I save? Yes, I can. And... did say Rex take the bite out of crime. So who is it? Who is it? Is it Mr. Jenkins? Really? You're not going to tell me who it is? Act 6. The coroner's inquest. Because of course, we can't just end with having
With a little
captured
more
the guy.
effort, you'll be the best investigative reporter Tulane ever graduated.
Thank you for coming to this inquest, Miss Bow. As the coroner on this case, I'm going to informally question you and study the evidence you've collected. If you assist me in developing a case, the perpetrators will be tried in the formal court of law. We're primarily concerned with the museum murders, but we're also interested in the theft of the dagger of Amun-Ra and other matters that may have a bearing on this case. My examination of the corpses has been fruitful, but I need more evidence to build a case. Any information you can give us would help, but you must justify your conclusions with the evidence you've acquired. False accusations and unsupported conclusions will not be tolerated. Although I don't wish to pressure you, your employer is also here to judge your performance on this investigation. Since this is an informal proceeding, I've allowed it on the basis that your newspaper will cooperate with our wishes. Now, to the questions. Who murdered Dr. Pippin Carter?
So, where most games would have just ended there, we have to actually now solve everything else. Now, if you haven't been picking up all the clues, or you get any of these questions wrong, it's going to affect the ending. But I think for the most part we've figured this stuff out. It sounds like Detective Riley was the big baddie, which would explain A, why he was not really caring about the crime, and B, all the other little weirdnesses surrounding him. So I think he killed Pippin Carter. And I think he did it to cover the crime of stealing the dagger.
Who murdered Lawrence Ziggy Ziegfeld?
And I think that also was O'Reilly. And I think he did it to cover the crime of
Who murdered Ernie Leach?
some of the art stuff that's been going on. Ernie Leach. I think it was O'Reilly. And it's still to cover the other crime that's going on.
Who murdered Yvette Delacroix?
That was definitely O'Reilly, and that was jealousy.
Who murdered Countess Lavinia Waldorf Carlton?
Technically it was the snake, but
Who was the skeleton found in the steamer trunk?
that would have been Carrington.
Who murdered Dr. Archibald Carrington?
That would be Watney Little.
Who impersonated Dr. Archibald Carrington?
That would also be Watney Little.
Who murdered Watney Little?
That would probably be O'Reilly. And he probably did it to cover the other
Who
crime.
actually stole the dagger of Amun-Ra from the ancient Egypt exhibit?
That was probably Watney Little.
Who manipulated Watney Little into stealing the dagger of Amun-Ra?
O'Reilly, which is the
Who
crime
was
he's
the
been trying to
woman
cover.
involved in stealing paintings from the Old Masters Gallery?
The woman is probably the Countess.
Based on what we now know, your assumption is correct, Miss Bow. Good work. Who was the man involved in stealing paintings from the Old Masters Gallery?
I suppose it was Watney Little.
Based on what we now know, your assumption is correct, Miss Bow. Good work. Who was the middleman who provided forged paintings for the Countess and sold the real ones for her?
That would probably be Ziggy.
Based on what we now know, your assumption is correct, Miss Bow. Good work. Who is the high priest of the Amun-Ra sun worshippers?
Promise I wouldn't say. Well, I guess I didn't say where it was, but yeah.
That's
it's
correct,
Ramses.
Miss Bow. You're very observant. Which museum employee runs a fencing operation as a sideline business?
Well, no one anymore, but that was Ernie Leach.
That assumption is correct. Mr. Leach was moonlighting with his own business as a fence installer. In fact, he put up a very nice fence around my house.
I have one final piece of evidence to present.
Oops.
Mr. Smith's testimony is safe with us.
Many thanks. I was in the Egyptian ceremonial room, underneath the museum, when Detective O'Reilly killed 2 of my fellow sun worshippers. I saw with my own eyes how he gunned them down without mercy when they tried to stop him from chasing Miss Bow. However, we only managed to slow him down. His hood fell back briefly, revealing his evil face to us as he slaughtered our people. That son of a camel should not be allowed to run free upon the sands.
Will you testify in court to what you witnessed, Mr. Smith?
Happily, sir. My dead fellows expect their revenge, although Amun-Ra will certainly destroy O'Reilly's car when he journeys through the underworld.
I'm not qualified to give my opinion on Mr. O'Reilly's spirit in the next world, Mr. Smith, but I'm sure your testimony will help your dead friends sleep peacefully. Thank you for coming forth. I must admit that I'm impressed by your methods, Miss Bow. Not only have you identified the murderers of those unfortunate individuals, but you have also uncovered the skullduggery involving the dagger of Amun-Ra. Our case is very strong now and prosecution can begin. The New York Police Department owes you a debt of gratitude for your assistance in apprehending these malefactors. I'm sure that a commendation of valor from the police department is in order. Thank you for your help.
Hopefully not from the detective. Larbo solves dagger theft and museum murders.
It's all that lousy reporter's fault. Damned interfering Laura Bow. Thinks she can get away with squealing on me, does she?
Suddenly you turned black?
Well, she's got another thing coming. Do you hear me, Laura Bow? You'll pay for this.
Oh, there you go.
If it's the last thing I ever do!
Thank you for waiting, Laura.
I didn't mind, Steve.
Laura,
Yes?
would you mind... do you suppose... Laura, could you close your eyes? I have something for you.
Oh, I suppose so. Oh, Steve!
Do you like it?
Steve, how could you? How could you have stolen the dagger?
I didn't steal the dagger, Laura. I bought this copy for you at the museum gift shop. I thought you might like a memento of your big night at the Leindecker Museum.
Oh, thank you, Steve. I'm so embarrassed.
You're beautiful when you blush. Laura,
Yes, Steve?
would you consider joining me for dinner this coming Saturday?
Well, I'm not sure if I don't know if I should really... Yes. Yes, I'd be delighted to join you for dinner.
Thank you, Laura. You've made me very happy.
Oh, Steve.
Oh, Laura.
Oh, Steve.
Since his skeleton was so nicely cleaned by the domestic beetles, Dr. Carrington's bones will soon be hanging on display in the Leyendecker Museum. Yvette Delacroix died plastered. Her remarkably lifelike statue now lives on in the Old Masters Gallery of the Leyendecker Museum. Her memory lives on in the minds of all she touched. Her sculpture is attributed to Ryan O'Reilly, 1926. Pleased by your success at finding his dagger of Ammon-Ra and his murderer, Dr. Pippin Carter now rests in peace. Pippin Carter's body was transported to Egypt by his cousin and now occupies a place of archaeological honor in the Temple of Ammon-Ra in the Valley of the Kings. Due to your success at recovering the dagger of Ammon-Ra and finding the murderer, Wolf Heimlich continued as chief of security at the Leyendecker Museum. 2 months later, he was married to Dr. Olympia Miklos. 2 years after they were married, Wolf and Olympia had a child they named Morgana Wolf Heimlich. Having died in the course of this story, Watney Little's life of crime came to an abrupt end. As he was not a nice man, nobody missed him. Due to your success at recovering the dagger of Ammon-Ra and finding the murderer, Dr. Olympia Miklos married Wolf Heimlich, who continued as chief of security at the Leyendecker Museum. 2 years after they were married, Wolf and Olympia had a child they named Morgana Wolf Heimlich. As fond as he was of the Leyendecker, Ernie Leach noted in his will that he wanted his body donated to the museum. His body now resides in numerous small jars of alcohol, which will be placed on display in the new Hall of Internal Biology, adjacent to the Hall of Late Mammals. Dr. Ptah Tut Smith finally gave up on getting the dagger of Ammon-Ra returned to Egypt. However, once it completed its US and European museum tours, it was returned to the Cairo Museum anyway. So, several years later, Tut died a happy man, even though his death was the result of an Egyptian cobra bite. After losing his head in the museum, Ziggy found himself unable to continue his criminal career. His head has been preserved and is now on display in the Life Mask exhibit at the Leyendecker Museum. Ramses Najir continued his successful career as an accountant and as head of the secret Egyptian cult of Ammon-Ra. With his strong high society ties, his accounting business made Ramses a millionaire in 15 years. Having died from a snake bite, the Countess Lavinia Waldorf Carlton did not live long enough to inherit any money from her last husband, Sterling. Thoroughly impressed by your success as a reporter, your editor, Sam Augustini, nominated you for a Pulitzer Prize and was present when you received your Citation of Valor from the police department. Sam retired 10 years later to become a gentleman cabbage farmer, fulfilling a secret lifelong dream. Pleased at your success, Crodfuller T. Rhubarb was happy to become your assistant at the New York Daily Register News Tribune. Henri Lamour, the coroner, continued his successful career studying dead bodies for the next 50 years, finally retiring in 1976 to tour with a rock band, the Ungrateful Dead. Low Fat continued in the laundry business, eventually opening a chain of low-fat Chinese laundries across the country and becoming a millionaire in the process. Former detective Ryan Hanrahan O'Reilly was sentenced to 60 years in a state penitentiary. Having been a cop, O'Reilly found it hard to make friends in prison. After your successful completion of the museum assignment, you started dating Steve Dorian. Thrilled with your success, John Bowe spent the rest of his life telling people what a wonderful daughter you were and how he had taught you everything you knew about criminology. After your recovery of the dagger of Ammon-Ra, it went back on display at the Leyendecker Museum. The large amount of press coverage drew many patrons to the museum to see the dagger. After 2 years on display at the Leyendecker, the dagger exhibit continued on a tour of museums in the United States, Europe, and finally found its way back to the Cairo Museum in Egypt.
And that is the dagger of Amun-Ra. Oh no, Lorbar just died. Yeah, I played this game way back in the day. Definitely had a lot of trouble with it. Then got the Roberta Williams anthology and played through it and did much better. Oh my. But yeah, when I was found out that we were gonna do Sierra games, I was excited to try this one out and share my love of this game. Which now I guess I have to. There's the steak beetles. What the heck is that? Is that Ziggy's head? It's a good game. Fortunately, there was never a third Larbo game. It's good. I mean, I was not a huge fan of the Colonel's Bequest which is Larbo 1, when I finally tried that out with their Brother Williams anthology. Ooh, that must be what happens if you look at the Beatles. But I think this is a really solid game. Hope you liked it. But I think once we're done with these credits, I'm gonna show a more bad ending. It's interesting though that changing the speed only affects her run speed, not anything else. What? I wish. Chase down Ryan with an axe. I will say, the voice talent was definitely very good. Though, I still say Steve Dorian's voice just seemed weird. It's very impressive how few voice actors they actually had. Rex the talking dinosaur. Stinky. Screams and moans. The end. Oh, really? Get back here. Boom. Alright. Continue saved game. 5. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Oh no, it was Old Man Jenkins. That's why they don't show his head, because now you have to guess who he was all this time. And there are a few people he could have been. But, I mean, obviously it wasn't Steve, wasn't anyone who
With a
died.
little more effort, you'll be the best investigative reporter Tulane ever graduated.
Thank you for coming. We brought any, although I don't.
Alright, so who murdered Pippin Carter? Let's say it was actually Dr. Tut. And he did it for revenge.
Who murdered Lawrence Ziggy Ziegfeld?
Let's see. We'll say it was Wolf Heimlich for thrill.
Who murdered Ernie Leach?
Ernie Leach. We'll say it was Dr. Olympia. Accident.
Who murdered Yvette Delacroix?
Steve Dorian.
Who
Self-defense.
murdered Countess Lavinia Waldorf Carlton?
She did it. She had a bad
Who
day.
was the skeleton found in the steamer trunk?
That one's pretty obvious.
Who murdered Dr. Archibald Carrington? Who impersonated Dr. Archibald Carrington?
Those ones are pretty obvious.
Who murdered Watney Little?
She did it. She's
Who
a mental
actually
deficiency.
stole the dagger of Amun-Ra from the ancient Egypt exhibit?
It was Ramses.
Who was the woman involved in stealing paintings from the Old Masters Gallery?
I mean, we watched her walk out with a painting, so we'll say it's her.
Based on what we now know, your assumption is correct, Miss Bow. Good work.
Good week.
Who was the man involved in stealing paintings? Based on our own investigation, your conclusion is incorrect, Miss Bow.
Oh.
2 of the men who were murdered were involved with one of the female victims in a plan to steal the paintings. We have a report on that woman telling us she appeared at an appointment in the medieval armor exhibit sometime after the party. She was unaware that her partner in crime was dead at that point, and she was seen carrying paintings. If she'd been confronted at that time with evidence that her partner was dead, she might well have confessed to her crime. Who is the high priest of the Amun-Ra sun worshippers?
So I wonder if I could have shown her shown her something to prove that it was. Maybe if I shown her the police folder? I don't know. That was pretty obvious.
Correct, Miss Bow. You're very observant. Which museum employee runs a fencing operation as a sideline business? Incorrect, Miss Bow. If I were you, I would have looked through the garbage in people's offices. Trash cans are often a good source of clues. Miss Bow, please remember in the future that you're a reporter, not a detective. By interfering at crime scenes, you make it much more difficult for the police to do their jobs. Not only are your conclusions based on unfounded guesswork, you don't even have any evidence to back them up. By your presence at the murder scenes and your destruction of evidence, I'm tempted to conclude that you were the murderer. You neglected to thoroughly question all the suspects, and you missed important evidence at the crime scenes. Although you discovered the dagger of Amun-Ra, you have not arrived at conclusions about the theft that make any sense to me. I believe the theft involved 2 people, one of whom must have been on the museum staff. Because of you, a murderer is running loose in this city, free to kill again. I hope you're proud of yourself, Miss Bow.
Aww. Lorbo bungles investigation. Dagger still missing and killer goes free.
Since his skeleton was so nicely cleaned by the domestic beetles, Dr. Carrington's bones will soon be hanging on display in the Leyendecker Museum. Yvette Delacroix died plastered. Her remarkably lifelike statue now lives on in the Old Masters Gallery of the Leyendecker Museum. Her memory lives on in the minds of all she touched. Her sculpture is attributed to artist unknown. Dr. Pippin Carter, wherever he is quite displeased. You did not recover the dagger of Amun-Ra, nor did you find his murderer.
I recovered it.
Therefore, Pippin feels it is only fair that he should haunt you for the rest of your life. Indirectly, as a result of your total failure, Wolf Heimlich was fired from his job as Chief of Security at the Leyendecker Museum. 1 year later, still out of work, he committed suicide in military fashion by falling on his sword.
Aww.
Having died in the course of this story, Watney Little's life of crime came to an abrupt end. As he was not a nice man, nobody missed him. After Wolf Heimlich was fired from his job as Chief of Security, Dr. Olympia Miklos moved to Montana to do full-time field research in paleontology, digging in the rich fossil beds she found there. Her greatest find was the carnivorous Olympiasaurus dinosaur. As fond as he was of the Leyendecker, Ernie Leach noted in his will that he wanted his body donated to the museum. His body now resides in numerous small jars of alcohol, which will be placed on display in the new Hall of Internal Biology, adjacent to the Hall of Late Mammals. Since the dagger of Amun-Ra was not recovered, Dr. Patashep Tut Smith was forced to commit suicide with a fake dagger of Amun-Ra from the Leyendecker Museum gift shop. After losing his head in the museum, Ziggy found himself
Weird they say that you didn't recover it, even though the coroner specifically said that you recovered it.
And is now on display in the life mask exhibit at the Leyendecker Museum. Ramses Najir continued his successful career as an accountant and as head of the secret Egyptian cult of Amun-Ra. With his strong high society ties, his accounting business made Ramses a millionaire in 15 years. Having died from a snake bite, the Countess Lavinia Waldorf Carleton did not live long enough to inherit any money from her last husband, Sterling. Extremely unimpressed by your total failure as a reporter, Sam Agostini fired you. Later that same year, he was mugged with a gift shop duplicate of the dagger of Amun-Ra and died from his wounds. He blames you for his death. Since you were fired after your total failure at the museum, Crodfuller T. Rhubarb continued the investigation, found the dagger of Amun-Ra and the murderer, and won a Pulitzer Prize for his excellent work. Henri Lamour, the coroner, continued his successful career studying dead bodies for the next 50 years, finally retiring in 1976 to tour with a rock band, the Ungrateful Dead. Low Fat continued in the laundry business, eventually opening a chain of low-fat Chinese laundries across the country and becoming a millionaire in the process. Detective Ryan Hanrahan O'Reilly continued in his job and became a full-time homicide detective. Having amassed a small fortune by being frugal, he retired to Ireland 3 years later. Steve Dorian was quite upset by the unfortunate event that happened to you later that night. Stunned by your total failure and the unfortunate event that occurred to you later that evening, John Bowe spent his remaining years in a New Orleans mental institution.
Aww.
After you gave it away, the dagger of Amun-Ra vanished. 20 years later, in 1946, it mysteriously appeared on the doorstep of the Cairo Museum in Egypt. There was human blood on the blade, as if it was some kind of a message.
I thought they said that Rube found the dagger and the murderer.
You had your chance and you blew it, Lorabo. This is what happens to interfering reporters.
What? the hell was that? So that's the bad ending. So, I don't think we need to watch the credits again, but... I don't think I ever saw that bad ending. That was pretty nuts. Alright. Till next time, folks. Toodaloo. I'm playing a game!